see if you agree, the DDA members, I think if one through the training and comments, yeah, we learned out some stuff was complicated, but I think the DDA found, and you guys tell me if you agree, that the role of the DDA is involving some complex stuff, but the actual role is relatively simple. Is that true? You want to elaborate on that? What do you think is relevant?
Well, I think our role is what Kirby said when he said what development is. I think the DDA's role is the investing capital. I think that's what we're here to do. And we're not here to directly invest capital. I think our role is to facilitate people investing capital. Our role isn't to make sort pretty. Our role isn't to market events. And our role is to facilitate investment capital. And that's, I think, what we're really here to do. And I think, it's a complex thing to get there. It's a simple role for us to say, hey, look, we're gonna invest capital. And it's not our capital. Sometimes it might be helping guys like you that have a business find the capital. There's a loan program. We can follow money to. And that's, I think, what we just sort of decided we want to be. I think when we all got appointed, we thought we were going to be all things to all people. We were going to, we were going to rewrite the development plans. We were going to fix Rodney's ULBC. We were going to take care of all of it. And I think after a year of doing absolutely nothing, we realized that that's not our job. Our job is really to figure out, to help people figure out and make it easier for people who want to come here to invest capital. Now, doing that, we can promote the city. We can attract people. We can go out and find people. But ultimately, the real, in my mind, Cody is going to tell me why I'm wrong, but in my mind, our biggest role.
I'm just chomping at the bit. Anytime, if you got one lawyer in a town the size of McDonough, it'll starve. If you got two, they'll be rich.
I'm not as good as Kirby. Kirby's the only lawyer I know that can get up and take credit for cleaning up a city because it picked up one piece of trash.
That's right.
And he did. And they all believe him. They said, look at Kirby.
After his wife slugged
Can I jump in just a second? Sure. Because I want to add to what you said, Patrick, not to contradict what you said. But the reason that your downtown development authority and most downtown development authorities are not directly in the business of investing capital, they got no capital. If you had capital, you'd be in the business of investing capital. And there's nothing wrong with having a strategy that hopefully at some day you have capital. But I want to ask you a question. Who is the biggest developer in the city of McDonough? The city. What role are you playing in the investment of their capital? Right now. Right now, that's right. You've got to be a part of that. The biggest developer in the city right now is not involving the Downtown Development Authority in the investment of capital. I'm sorry. That's right. The city and the Development Authority ought to be working together on terms of how that capital gets invested, and is that cities, governments are very poor developers. And I don't mean poor in terms of financial research. They don't do a good job of developing. And the reason is that we teach our elected officials how to budget, not how to invest.
Absolutely.
But downtown development authorities should be looking at how is capital being invested. And is that expenditure capital, be it private or public, is that expenditure creating the downtown we want, and does it leverage other activity in our downtown? So I'm just being real honest with you, until your city engages your downtown development authority in how the city invests its capital, it's an uphill battle, folks. It's an uphill battle. I'm sorry, I'll keep telling you, he ain't got no fun.
There he goes again. I warned you I was going to call you next. Be ready.
I know. Wow, following that is tough. I'm glad he said it, not me.
Well, I was going to say.
That's how I go home to go
Get this ride home. So that's why we got this. What page do you want? You got something to say? You got that. Everybody's got something. How does that fit into this process?
Well, my friend is building today. This is a nice older building. It's beautiful, and I love the program that he's doing here. But our certified, that's our goal for this year, to drive hard on that. So we can utilize those government funds to be able to do more within the city, to be able to help the downtown area, the, commercial area, and the housing areas as well. So that's our big goal.
But you see, one thing that came out of what you said is the overlap. I mean, the Historic Development Commission has a relatively narrow vision, but in one sense, but it's very broad in another
overlaps
sense.
everybody, you know.
But also, she needs to help the DDA and others because they need to meet certain standards
Yes,
to get designated as a certified local government, and then that opens the door to other grants and other resources from the Department of Interior and from DCA.
Correct.
So we, as I'm saying we meaning the DDA right now, we need to know what you need so we can help you, and you need to know what. So that's what we're
and how
trying
we
to
do
do.
service to each other and be able to help.
Because all these groups were created by the mayor and council, but unfortunately, they're all kind of like this now, and we need to get them all in harness, pulling together, because we'll find that there's some things that these guys think are real easy, and they can go bibbidi-bobbidi-boo and help you, and then there's something that you know that they don't have a clue. So, that's what we need to do, is balance those kind of, what we know, what we're good at, what we have access to, what our resources are. Because I happen to think that one of the competitive market advantages of a downtown like this is the historic resources. And part of it is education, because some people think historic development codes and stuff mean, I'm going to tell you what you do in your building, I'm going to tell you what you do in your bedroom, and I'm going to tell you what you do in your bedroom. I mean, people actually think, that
Right.
it can be that way, it doesn't have to be that way.
Well, see, one thing, once we do get certified, it does give us a little bit more authority. Not as far as telling people what to do, but as far as gaining those grants, then giving that education behind us. So we're certified, we have this backing us, that backing us, and this is what we can do with it.
And the example of telling people what to do, in the towns that are restricted with historic codes, it's because they've determined that it's in their interest to be restricted.
Correct.
But you don't get restricted until you've made that determination. You don't just start telling them what to do with their property. But in some places like this abandonment or whatever, they've determined that, hey, it really is worth something to have that code, to maintain that facade, to have a palette of colors or whatever. And so then they determine that, hey, it's in my interest to comply.
It brings more money within the community, especially like you said, Savannah, because now it's a tourist area, and it brings more money within the city.
That's right.
I mean,
So we need to help, we collectively need to help her sell that message so people understand it, because it'll help us do our job as well. You're up. Everybody else is announcing for
No.
Republican candidate for president, so I don't.
Well, fortunately, city council is not large, so I don't have to announce anything. I've been listening. My story is that I grew up here, and left here in 1982, came back in 2000. I lived in New York City. I lived in Syracuse, New York. I lived in New Jersey. When I came back, I decided that I wanted to invest my money and get people together to invest in a business on the square. I remember the square when I was younger. We expanded to our capacity. You know what? People used to come to the square after church. There was Ward's Drugs, there was Rexall Drugs. The square was thriving. I fast forward. What was the commonality when I came back that I was looking for that McDonough had in the square? I lived in New York City where you had everything you wanted to do, eat, drink in the world there. But what we have is the fact that people leave New York either for the evenings or on the weekends and go to these small towns because of their charm and their development. And eventually they move out of the city and they decide to live and raise their families there and reinvest in those towns. So I'm here because I've been a part of this process where we've had all these plans and we haven't done it. I'd like to see something happen, and I want to be a part of it. So I'm back, and that's what I want to do.
And you made a point about, you know, being a big city, being in New York. Where I thought you were going with that, all those activities and services are nearby, but the other thing that's nearby that those services are what? What makes it important that those services and restaurants and other things are right there?
Where they live.
People live there, there's housing. So you sort of raised your hand.
No, I was just gonna volunteer for president.
Everybody else is.
Take a number, get in line.